Yeah, not okay. Just curious, your lifetime membership. I mean,
What does it entail?
yeah.
So Cody and I really sat down for a while trying to figure out the best option for memberships, and we watched different breweries and wineries. Everything is an annual basis. You pay $600, $500 to $600 at a brewery. You get some things, which is cool, but if you forget to use it, you just paid $600. If you don't re-up, then you don't get back in, so you lose that option. With us, we're doing a lifetime membership, and it's $1,000 one time, and basically as long as we exist, you can come in. You forget to come in 1 year, you come back the next year. You get a shirt, you get a growler, you get a challenge coin, you get discounts, $25 off per beer each time you come in.
25%.
Huh?
25%.
Sorry,
I was going to
25
say, that's,
Sorry, my bad.
you'd be paying me.
25% off your first beer every day. You get a birthday beer, 10% off of merchandise, and 20% off a first batch of a new beer. So if we have a new beer come out,
Nice.
you can come and taste it. You just have to get all four, and you get 20% off that.
All right, and we're kicking into session now. So welcome to Flights of the Valley. We are experiencing local breweries around the valley. Starting off here at the brand new, not quite open yet, but we're tasting some brand new flavors that are going to be introduced to the neighborhood at the Reborn Brewery here in Clovis, California, right off of, right out near Cole and Shaw off of San Jose. So over here at 1018 San Jose in Clovis, you are allowed to come in and test. I'll let him tell you about the hours on that, on when that's going to be, but let's bring it in. We've got Ryan, and he starts with a C. Cody. Oh my gosh. All right, Ryan and Cody here. They are the brewers and owners, and I've got my actually co-host Nikki right here with me. I'm Jim Thomas, and let's take it away. Nikki, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing awesome. I just left and finished a workout, so a couple of sampling of some cold craft brews sounds awesome.
Nice. So I'm just learning how to use this software here and this computer, so I've got to do directing and editing or whatever at the same time. So forgive me while I go through this. We're going to get Ryan and Cody to explain to us a little bit about the brewery here and about some of the flavors that they've wonderfully brought to us. I've tasted a couple already, and I'm impressed. Coming from San Diego, that's a lot to say. So Ryan and Cody, I don't know who wants to go first on.
All right, well, the inception of the brewery started in 2018 at my house doing homebrew. I started doing that for about 2 years before Cody came on in 21. We wanted to create a business, but we didn't want to just put out bad beer. We wanted everyone to have a chance to try it, so we brewed, and gave everybody a chance to sample our product. And we told people to give us bad information about it if it's bad, but we got tons and tons of good rapport. And then after about 4 or 5 years, we're ready to kind of push this to the next level.
Nice.
Trying to find a new place.
It's a long process.
It is.
Yeah. And so did you both get involved together with this at the same time?
No, actually,
Okay.
Ryan started off, like I said, in 2018. I came on 2 years ago. I actually married his cousin, so we're kind of a little family deal going on here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Started visiting him, got in the process, kind of put my hands dirty, cleaning, helping him out, and then I was like, I can do this. This could be fun. And I have a background in biology and chemistry, and so I was using kind of the sciencey lingo and all those SOPs to kind of make the process even better than it already was. It already was good, but
Wow.
we just wanted to create that. And with those stepping stones, we're able to get to this size right now. Pretty cool.
And as you can see behind Nikki over there, those are some pretty good casks going on. nice barrels. They look beautiful. So yeah, I married into a band once, and yeah, and great band, and that's a different story. But
Yeah, guys, just kind of curious, how much beer does each of these produce?
So these tanks you see right behind you right now, these are our 7 barrels. A barrel of beer is 31 gallons US
31 gallons.
each one. So
Wow.
that's 7 barrels. So you do the math on that. It's roughly 210, 270 gallons of beer. Our current size is 3 barrels, 93 gallons for each batch that we can push out until we move up to our 10 barrel system.
Wow.
I'm curious, roughly how long does it take from start to finish to actually brew a beer?
The single day takes roughly between 6 to 7 hours just to brew the actual wort, and fermentation takes about a week and a half. And then after that, if you're doing any additional flavorings or conditioning, another week. So start to finish from inception to kegging is about 2.5 weeks for most beers. Some, if you're lagering, can go up to a full month.
Yeah. I don't know if this mic is picking you up very well, but
Get closer.
well, that's right. Get a little closer. Don't be shy. All right. So, you're asking about the size of these things, but you said, do you have any flavors that you like to brew for a long period of time that you've been working on?
Roughly, well, one of our flavors is the New York 104 Kolsch. That one takes about 45 days because it's a lager and an ale, but the lagering time takes about 30 days total. So it's going to take a whole half a month to do the fermentation process. Then you got to let it sit for 32 degrees, just sit there in a tank. So it's probably the longest one we've done. I think the Mexican lager.
Mexican lager as well. So lagering, what it does, it rounds out the fermentation profile over a period of days. A fresh beer that's lagered has some sharp edges that you don't want in there. A little bit of different chemicals, esters, aldehydes, all these things. So that process of the 30 days helps to round out and kind of make the beer crisper, cleaner, and more drinkable.
Well, don't give away all your secrets, because then the other breweries are going to be like, oh, that's how they do it. Holy cow.
Yeah.
We are collaborative. I mean, we've gotten so much help from the industry
Oh, that's great.
alone already.
Yeah.
And I think, and I believe, entire USA, internationally, that you need to be sharing how to brew. That's the only way to keep this thing alive.
Now, something I've got, this is like a process that sounds like a labor of love. When you finish your beers, roughly, what's the shelf life to where it's, how long does it keep, where it's still what you call awesome?
That's a good question. So a lot of times beers have a 160-day life on them. Just depends on the type of beer, and then also how the handling happens. If you introduce any kind of oxygen or anything in the beer, it's going to go bad pretty quick. So our goal is cleanliness and staving away from oxygen as much as we can to keep the shelf life as long as possible. But with craft beer, we recommend drinking it probably within 2 to 3 months at max.
Is it affected by temperature?
Definitely temperature, yes.
And is that the same as can and in, let's say, a keg or something like that? Because I've got a kegerator at 5 gallons. That lasts me a while because I don't drink a whole bunch, but I enjoy a sip every day or every couple of days or something like that. Sometimes I go a week without touching it, and sometimes I'll have a party. Who knows? But a pony keg can last me, if it's just myself, 5 or 6 months. Is that about the time frame you would think on?
Yeah, you're perfectly fine doing that as long as it's under CO2 pressure and it's always kept cold.
Yeah.
Your beer's going to last a while. With typical kegs that we go through, I mean, a brewery's going to go through a keg in a week. But for the average consumer at home, yeah, you're perfectly fine drinking that beer 6 months, 7 months. But it's also based on your palate, what you want.
Well, I think that lasting a week is going to shorten up here soon, especially as soon as you open up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna be packed in here. So you're going to be opening soon to the public as an official tasting room.
Correct.
Do you have a tentative date set for that?
Yeah. It depends on how much we work our asses off. Honestly. We've got a lot of some building projects to do, but we're hoping 90 days out.
Nice. What about you, Nikki? What do you have questions for?
Well, I'm not a beer connoisseur, so a lot of times I'll look at these cans and I'll see like all these numbers, IBU, and other types of things. So for us that don't know, could you please explain, explain to my pea brain what these numbers mean?
Yeah, of course.
I'm right there with you, Nikki. Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of that stuff is very off-putting sometimes for people coming to craft beer. You look at other brands, macro brands, they're not going to have the IBU sometimes. And basically it just explains the bitterness levels, the bitterness units of a beer, the ABV, obviously it tells you the alcohol level and just all that. You'll get little stories about how the hops play and the malt play into the beer flavors, and that kind of helps you understand what you're looking at when you're drinking it, your palate-wise. and coding.
Yeah, and some brewers like to give away a little bit of their process. Something called dry hop. You can sometimes see triple dry hopped or double dry hopped, hazies, things like that. Those are just part of the SOPs they built when they add their hops into their beer. And it just kind of gives you an idea of what you're going to experience beforehand. Because perception is reality in beer. So when you're like, oh, I'm going to taste a passion fruit, guava, and apricot, I hope I'm going to do that. But there's also people who have different palates and everything like that. It just helps you immerse yourself into the experience.
So, getting into hops, obviously there's different strains of hops, a whole lot.
They go on forever.
Okay. Are there any particular hops that you guys particularly like, and why would someone who's consuming, what would be, just share with us?
I think the ones we like to use a lot of is Cascade, Citra, Pearl, a lot of the other fun ones that we have.
Yeah.
Eldorado.
Are these local or brought in from faraway places?
Brought in from not far away places. Most of the stuff is going to be either Washington. There's some in New Zealand, Australia. So there's a whole bunch, and Germany, of course.
Ooh.
They're all over the world. But
We do have a farm out here, I think in Kingsburg. East Kent Golding is the tops. We don't buy directly from them, but they do have them locally if we wanted to get them.
Now, I had no clue because I used to do wine consulting and used to host wine tasting parties on a regular basis. And it was 2019 January that I initially got involved. I knew nothing about wines. And so I'm learning about, I've always known all the grapes of the different regions, as in they come from different regions, but I didn't know really much about the grapes, but like, for example, though, you get the Syrah, from France, and, it's a northern type grape, but then they took that same exact grape DNA and everything down to Australia, and it's called a Shiraz. And so, but what really, really interests me is because now that I'm delving into this, now that you've spoken about that about the hops, and the different regions and things, I am truly interested in tasting, in finding out what different flavors of different hops are. Yeah. This is a whole new world for me, so I'm so excited about this.
a fancy word for that in the industry is terroir.
Yeah.
So it depends on elevation,
climate,
acidity of the soil, and all that traces back. We have a little bit of experience with that. I used to be a coffee roaster, so it kind of goes in the same kind of field. Coffee, wine, grapes, just that kind of industry, all kind of meld into one, which is actually giving me a footstool to figure out all these hop combinations.
Wow.
It's kind of cool.
So, compared to, we'll say, commercial beers, what would you say to the consumer? I obviously believe you pay for what you get. And for myself, I'd rather pay more and have a quality beer that I could enjoy than something that is just like, I mean, I'm not a person who will sit down and go like through a 6 or 12 pack. So if you were...
We can change that.
No, but if you were to say to somebody, what would you say would be the differences, let's say, between your beers, versus something you just buy off the shelf, be it like a Budweiser or a Miller or whatever? What is unique, special about things that you guys are offering?
So there's a place for all types of beer on the shelf. We believe that because the brewing industry is a big one and we want to keep it going. The biggest thing with craft beer versus other beers is that we have the experimentation opportunities. It's a little bit cheaper for us to do that. We can play with flavors. And with craft beers, you're going to get so many different robust flavors on the nose and on the palate. And yes, I agree. To pay a little bit more to get something that's more quality is what I'm seeing a lot of people do. You sit down, you enjoy it. It's an experience more than just drinking it.
Yeah, and that's my experience with wine is that, same thing with the mass-produced wines. They have to add a whole bunch of different things to them to keep the flavor the exact same every year because, like you talked about, the terroir of the grapes, the hops and everything, it changes every year. So, everything off the vine and out of the ground, the flavor is going to change every single year. And so that's why when you've got a 1973 Cabernet versus a 1982, even though it's older, it may not be as good, and then the 1995 might be better than both of those or worse, who knows. But Yeah, so it's my understanding hops are very similar. The flavor changes a little bit, but so long as you don't need to add chemicals. That's a great thing about the microbrews is you get to experiment with your flavors the way you want, right?
Yep. Yeah, every bag is different. That's why we test them aromatically first.
Yeah.
Because from harvest, I mean, from the beginning of harvest to the end of harvest, that same lot is going to change. And so we have to be careful. We're not at the size right now to go select our own. We're too small. But at some point, when we get to a certain amount of barrels per year, we'll be able to go and select the exact ones we want.
Nice.
So for now, we're relying heavily on Yakima, which is Yakima Chief, which is the company in Washington that has bulk of the hop production in the United States. They do a great job. They nitro seal the bags. Everything's really well kept, and their SOPs are great. So we're almost confident that most bags we get are going to be to the scope of the beer and the flavors. But yes, they change from year to year, so we never
Nice.
know.
Same thing with the grains and the roasting. If they roast them different, or if the crop's different, everything about that changes. And then the biggest aspect is our water chemistry. How we play with our water is what keeps us kind of going.
So yeah, it's interesting that you're mentioning water. So, are you using any kind of filters or anything to make sure that that you're able to control water quality?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we kind of, I think that's what sets us apart. We use a RO system, so it's reverse osmosis. And so it's taking Fresno water, which we know just day to day can change. And it's really high in different chemicals and chlorines that we don't want. So the RO strips it almost to a neutral water. And then from there, each recipe, and we have about 35 recipes right now, all have a different addition of salts to get back to that water chemistry, depending on the beer. So if you want softer or
Yeah.
sharper, there's a whole bunch of science behind that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed with like I've got the whole house filter, and I don't want to name brands or anything. I don't know if I'm giving anybody props or anything, but I've always loved them. So down in San Diego, I had it for 18 years, and it's just such a noticeable difference with those whole house filters, and then they polarize it and everything. Oh my gosh, Nikki, that was a great question. That's the water itself. I mean, you go to a restaurant. Why do they put lemon in the water? Get rid of the chlorine flavor or the other flavors and stuff that's in there. So
I mean, that is the base of beer. I mean, if you can't get that right, then everything's going to suck.
That's something that amazes me is you have a restaurant, someone orders water, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing all the cooking and everything, and you're using the water that's coming in. You'd think that if I was running a restaurant, that I'd want to filter the water so I'd have the cleanest tasting food and experiences. I mean, one thing growing up back east.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, but surprisingly, I was always trying to figure out, like New York City, one of the things that New York has reputation-wise is great tasting food.
Okay.
Right? Well, it turns out New York City tap water is among the best tap water in the country. They get this pure water from the Cascade Mountains that comes down, and it's really fresh and clean. And that comes through all the food, the pizzas, the bagels, the sandwiches. And I asked this on the water because it's I would hope that a brewery would clean filter out their water, because let's say that there was a certain European brand of beer that I would drink when people would offer, and supposedly it was a premium beer, but for some reason it always felt like there was like a dirt in the beer. I don't know if that makes sense, like a dirt aftertaste, kind of like something, maybe a sentiment from the canals or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Might have been the hands that made it. You never know.
Please.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm excited to taste something.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit early, but still, it's not like we're drinking. But flavors, I'm so ready for a flavor.
Okay.
What are you interested in trying first? You were saying earlier before we started recording, usually you start off with the lights first, the lighter flavors.
IPAs are fine. I would move to the darkers last, because you don't want those sitting on the palate.
Yeah, because I've tried most of the flavors already, and over the past couple of weeks, and like I said, I'm impressed. But to start off light, the saison, I don't know who pronounces it where.
Saison.
Saison. Okay. But yeah, that was if I remember, was that the one that had the strong grapefruit, or not strong, but a grapefruit flavor?
Not grapefruit. You're probably getting more like a bubblegum clove. That's the Belgian style saison.
Okay,
It's very
because there was
clearly
one that I
flavored.
tasted with a grapefruit. They had a really good grapefruit flavor to it, and I can't remember which one
Might
it was.
have been actually.
It wasn't like strong citrus, but it had a good background grapefruit.
Maybe that was the Pilsner. Was it lighter or darker?
It was lighter.
Probably
Yeah.
the Pilsner.
Pilsner, yeah.
All right, maybe I'll start out. I'll try that, and then compare that with the saison.
You know what? I'm looking to say, how about the Clouds of Olympics?
Clouds of Olympus.
Yes,
the hazy IPA. Ooh.
Hazy IPA. Okay.
All right, and here we go. I'm not filming you actually pour.
So before I hit this hazy IPA,
Oh yeah. Was this
and
the
before I
Pilsner?
hit this hazy IPA, how about anything comments you'd like to make on this particular?
Yeah, so this is one of our first flagship hazies. Some hazies are too sweet in the market, and so we chose actually to do a bittering edition. So this is going to have El Dorado, Mosaic, and Amarillo. So they're kind of older hops. We like to blend in kind of old school with the new school.
Okay.
When you get to the Dragons, we'll talk about that. But we like those bittering flavors to balance really well with the fruit. So you're going to get a lot of pineapple, mango, and a little bit of guava in that guy. You can definitely smell
It
it.
is amazing what the hops can do. And there's different fruit flavors and notes, spices and
Yeah.
stuff. Because back then, 5,000 years ago, it was just malt.
Yeah.
Malted barley, and they did that, and then they would add allspice, cloves, and stuff to give it different flavors until hops became a thing in the industry, and then everyone used hops for all kinds of flavors that you can get out of beer.
Well, this Pilsner right here was exactly the one I was thinking. You know, with it, and for for an early day, grapefruit's good for breakfast.
Yeah.
So, Nikki, I think you would like this one a lot. It's very light. It's a lighter, beer, but like great flavor behind it. And so, I'm gonna taste it here.
Sure. Okay.
Oh yeah, that is very refreshing. That is definitely the beer I want on a hot day by the pool.
Yes.
You know,
Definitely.
that hazy, I like that. It's just,
How did that hit you?
it's got a good flavor to it, and it doesn't have like some beers here
Over bitter.
or it's bitter, but I like bitter beers, but it's kind of like between bitter and a little bit, it's like I'm saying, I should try that tropical IPA probably. That would
Oh,
probably
yeah.
be pretty sweet.
Oh,
but
yeah,
that'd be also
which
good.
one is this one, Jim?
That one is the Pilsner?
Yes.
Okay.
Pilsner,
So
okay.
this one has a little bit of that, to me, grapefruit. Now, that's the
Yeah.
other thing is that all of our taste buds are different. I'm going to taste something somebody else doesn't. There's something in the Kolsch that I taste. It's kind of like, like ginger has a soapy kind of flavor for some people.
Yeah.
This one has a similar type taste for that for me when somebody else doesn't taste that.
Yeah.
So it's weird how our taste buds are all different.
There's
The-
thresholds to every single type of.
Now,
flavor
the question
there, yeah.
is, Pilsner is Pilsner. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this from the regions of like Czechoslovakia?
Yeah, there's Czech pills, there's German
And-
pills.
And this
Italian
particular Pilsner of yours, is it like the Czech or the German, or kind of like
So-
a hybrid?
It's going to be like a German one, but this one's actually a little bit different, a little bit more special. This is a West Coast Pilsner. So the reason why you're getting grapefruit is that on the hot side, we did all German hops, which is traditional for a Pilsner. On the cold side, so dry hopping, we did West Coast hops, Equinaut, Azaka, and Citra. So
Okay.
that's why you're getting that grapefruit and the nose and the aroma at first, and then that dissipates, and now you just have a drinkable Pilsner at the end. It's kind of an industry-leading thing right now.
So now, since you're making Pilsners, are you guys considering, no wrong answer, of making like a Oktoberfest style beer?
100%.
Yes, technically our Kolsch is seemingly a Oktoberfest because it's a ale and lager. All Pilsner grains, German hops that we use for that. We're going to try and do a traditional German beer, probably, hopefully next year
Yeah.
for Oktoberfest, because we really want to put out a Märzen or something else like that.
Yeah, you see, what you need to do is hire a couple of models, like the German beer girls.
Are you saying you're for hire, Nikki?
I'm ugly.
So, and now is the time to actually plan for October next year,
It is.
Well, technically, I mean, it's 3 days before Christmas, so now's not good planning time. I'm sure there's plenty of other things to focus on at the moment. But
So now, just curious, when you guys get your room, when you get it set up and you get cleared from the city of Clovis, besides beer, will you be able to offer any kind of food to go with that, or?
Yes, so we can, basically some breweries will have a fridge with some to-go stuff that you can grab. We will be getting a food truck permit eventually to have food trucks out here.
they've got some great food trucks around
Some
here.
live entertainment
many.
opportunities. Eventually, maybe create a small kitchen if we can do that and get past the health department stuff. And just do some heated up foods. That's the ultimate goal. The main goal right now is just to get the tap room operational and running.
Well, yeah, I'm just
But,
thinking, like, you have the
balance,
Oktoberfest. In fact, if you guys are cooperative with the other breweries in the area, maybe work with the city of Clovis and actually have an Oktoberfest at one of the parks where all the breweries could
Yeah.
be. Like, there's a park that just right down the block from my house at Ronald McDonald Park over by the animal shelter.
Yeah.
That I've already seen them open up things over there. I mean, I saw CrossFit over there. I see that the police go out there, and even though I'm a transplant to this area, I've met with the city council members and stuff, and they seem to be, very non-woke, like common sense, pro-business, and we. Well,
one of the things that is kind of great for the industry that's changed, that California just passed a new law. As of January 1st, this next year, all breweries are able to actually sell pints of their beer at events. So if the city does an event, we don't have to just donate kegs or just have our kegs purchased. We can actually be there, sell our merchandise, sell our beer on tap right there at the event, which is a beautiful thing for us.
It's absolutely ridiculous that they actually had to pass a law to allow you to do this.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like one of these things that I have a problem with Mother May I, I'm kind of like one of these types of people that says, I'll do my things and then I'll beg for forgiveness after I've done, Yeah. So, well, hey, look, it's kind of a carryover, as far as freedom. Now, I noticed you're saying you have Rise. So I'm kind of curious. Tell me about Rise.
So the rye is something that we've really dived into because we like the grain. We like how the grain interacts with the beer making process. Rye is typically more of a drier grain. It'll give you more of a crisp, dry taste in your mouth with a slight hint of spice. Every rye grain is slightly different. The one we chose, Cody, again, I'm sorry? Viking malt rye, specifically for the Dragon's Blood. We don't use a lot of it. It's only a small portion of the entire grain bill addition, but we feel like it adds such a great, robust body to the beer.
Okay. Well, you see, yeah, the rye in the beer, that's not something that you typically see, let's say, in a commercial beer.
No,
Not really. There's a handful of craft breweries out there that have dabbled in rye. There were some great beers. I actually really enjoyed them, and stopped seeing them. So then, loving rye whiskey, I was like, I want to play with rye and put that into this batch.
Okay, so
Sorry, we're getting some charging going on here
yeah. So
because we're about to run low on this thing.
So what is this
Start with this
particular
guy.
one?
Start with that guy first.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one's Baby Dragon.
Baby Dragon.
It's a little bit less alcohol, but in the idea of it, we wanted to create another rye IPA that's sessionable. So it's a low alcohol.
Okay.
Now, Dragon's Blood, it does really well in the market, but it is a little bit more potent for our customers. So this one, as you can see, the color is a little bit lighter.
Yeah,
but-
definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
But
But,
as far as-
5.2 versus an 8%.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've got to say, I was really excited because I'm not a big rye fan when it comes to like rye bread and the rye seed in general. And when I tasted this, I was like, all right, what am I in for? And man, am I pleasantly surprised. So this is, you said the lighter one is the baby dragon?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wanted to taste these two next to each other. That was a great color.
And so they're actually hopped. One has a little bit extra hop, but the Baby Dragon has one extra hop. But the design is mixing the old school with the new school. Mm-hmm. So there's our main bittering hop is Perle, which is, or Pearl, depending on how you say it. It's a German variety hop. It's a noble variety.
That is really, very bitter. You can really.
But it's a balanced bitter.
Now, what it's doing to my palate is, so, if you have a really good steak all by itself, great tasting meat and everything, but if you add the right flavors, you get all these background flavors and stuff. You can taste a little bit of the salt on the back of your tongue, and then the garlic, kind of like explodes certain things. This right here is doing the same thing for my mouth. Okay. It's getting a variety of flavors that go all the way back to the back of the throat, and then when I'm done sipping it, and I just took a sip, but here I am talking, I can still taste it. Mm-hmm. And to me, that is the what I've been looking for is the flavor that sits there. You know what? I mean, I want another taste right now, but I can still taste it. And I want to keep it's an enjoyable flavor. A lot of bad beers, it's like, okay, that flavor is still sitting there. Crud, I got to taste something else now. This is not like that at all. You're like, I'm enjoying this a lot.
Yeah, this thing is also smooth too, and
Crisp.
Oh yeah.
it's. Yeah, you can sit and you can enjoy it, but you know what? Your stuff is strong. By the way, when you sell these in pints, right?
Yeah, 16 ounces.
16 ounces. So, for those that are viewing, now, I'm a bit of a wimp when it comes to alcohol and stuff, but I can definitely feel the buzz in this. But that's probably saved me from DUIs, because at this point, I'm a fat cow, which is why I was at the gym. I got about dropped down about another 60 pounds.
This was the first 4-pack that I bought, so I was like, you know what? I'm taking that home. Yeah, the other one I took home was the dwarven,
the blonde,
the dwarven golden ale.
Yeah.
So that was the golden, and I took that because I know my daughters are really going to like that, but that didn't last.
Well, that's
They
because
didn't get any yet, and now I
because we were sitting around. But I think
I went and bought. I had to buy some more.
I reimbursed you though, right? Right? Hey,
they're good.
I wasn't a person who came and drank up your beer and left, right?
I gotta say, Nikki, you actually have a great, just considerable, thought, and with everything that you seem to put your heart into. That's why I love having you with me on this show.
Well, you could go into somebody's house and you drink up their beer, and they're great hosts. But I believe in the law of reciprocity.
Oh,
Yeah.
So when somebody does something for you, you should return in kind. It's
Paying it forward's always good, if you can't return it to the other same person. But great philosophies, and I follow them.
The thing about this is that this whole thing of like paying it forward is, I like to go through my life. I like to be kind. I like to be considerate. I like to operate from love.
Gives you a great feeling. Yeah.
It gives me a great feeling. I like to be love, peace, tranquility. Because that way I don't have to shoot people with my 45.
Yeah, that doesn't bring on the dopamine nearly as much. No.
Oh no. Well, look, hey. You gotta have things in life, what could be better? You have good quality beer, you have fast cars, and when times when you want to go have fun, you want to make noise. A lot of my friends have 9mm, and I can say, what?
Your noise is different than my noise.
Yeah, I like
love
45s. But the thing was, all these years I've never drank a cold 45 malt liquor. All these years, and just never got around to it.
I don't think I have either.
Anyway, enough on that.
You might not be disappointed.
I might not be, but this is I like a good brew, and This is the dragon, huh?
Yes, this is the full-on dragon. This is the mama dragon.
This is the mama
Or is this
dragon.
mama or papa dragon? Do you have plans for?
Papa. This is Papa.
This is papa. Do you have plans for a mama dragon?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
This one has been a 7-year baby of ours.
Yeah. Now I like this one.
We've changed the iteration 7 times, and we actually won Best of Show at Shaver Lake Brewfest this year with this beer specifically.
I like this one better than the baby dragon. Although I definitely it will be like a 1 can. And
It definitely is. So the higher ABVs are scary for some people, but the way Cody and I look at it is you're coming in here to have an experience with craft beer. You're not coming in here to slam 5-9% because you're not going to come walking out. That's not okay with us. So
Yeah.
you come in, you talk to us, you have a good time, we explain the beer, and you learn about craft, and that's what we're here for. That's what we want to be a part of.
you know, you go through life, right? And you could, my take is that I'd rather have less, but I'd rather have less of, but more quality.
Yes.
Because to me, there's what I'm going through my life. I'm not looking for. I'm looking for what I call value, and I'd rather have something that I really like, that I could really enjoy, rather than, a lot of like stuff that's like, yeah, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
does that make sense?
It makes sense. Yeah. Quality product.
Yeah, it's and you're right about experience, because let's say you're out at a dinner, and if you're out at a dinner, let's say with a significant other, or if you're out there with friends, right? You go through life, and when you look back at your life, to me, I like to look back at experiences.
I can tell this is hitting you strong already.
I
love you too, man.
Am I piling it on or what?
I'm
No.
just teasing you.
But it's like I really like to have. For me, I look back at my life,
Yeah.
and I like to look back at experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I really value my connections with my friends and people. Shared experiences and stuff. And this is something that you could say, yeah, you know what? I went and had these brews. These were awesome. If you had a meal with it would be awesome. If you were at an event, it would be awesome. Yeah, we go through. Most of us go through our day in, day out life. And now, by the way, I think what you guys are doing are awesome, because if you can find something that you have a passion for, right? That's just like
It's no longer work.
Yeah, that's a purpose.
Yeah. We call this our playground, basically.
Yeah.
We both have full-time jobs, and we do what we got to do. When we come here, it's stress-free.
Yeah.
We've had the woes of things breaking, maybe getting ourselves hurt half the time.
Yeah.
But
100% of the time.
100% of the time. But we love what we do, and this is just a huge passion of ours.
So that's why I'm sitting here right now, is because I had the full-time job for the longest time, and took care of the family, had the stability. Now I get to retire young and figure out what I want to do when I grow up.
yeah.
But I've always used my voice. I've done a lot of singing, did tons of theater with my kids, and they're all grown up now. And now I'm like, all right, what do I want to do? And still using the voice. I'm like, okay.
We haven't tried anything sweet. How about that tropical IPA?
Try the tropical.
All right.
Yeah.
Now I do notice that on this dragon's blood, that the bubbles are a lot tinier. So it was almost a little bit flat to me. I don't know if it's just because the keg hasn't set, or if is that the normal.
It probably, because the cake's almost about to pop.
Okay.
It's nearing its end. We have a new batch of Dragon's Blood
Gotcha.
currently in the tank fermenting.
Yeah.
This is our final and last cake, so we're pretty much going to be out for another 2 weeks.
No.
Unfortunately.
That sounds like that sounds.
Oh, you still have it in cans though.
Yes. We
Oh,
have
yeah.
a handful of cakes.
That really sounds like just such an awesome name of Dragon's Blood. Now, what kind of label you got on the can?
Actually, we can get
yeah,
that
let's
real
see
quick.
what kind of label you got on that.
All right. So
So
tropical.
This is a tropical IPA.
Ooh, this is so
So
awesome.
this is Dragon's Blood.
And this is, as you can see, this is just a completely empty can, not topped yet. And Reborn
Yeah.
Brewing Company, Dragon's Blood.
Yeah, because, when I think of the dragons, right, my mind immediately goes to the dragons from Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
So,
There you go.
And like we were saying too, in the label you'll see a little bit about the beer profile. It explains explains our story, and then a little bit of the profile and the hops.
Do you have that online as well?
Not yet.
Okay.
The website is fully up. It has a list of current beers that we have available in cans. We are working on getting these labels posted on there. The social media, you can kind of see them as they come out.
Now this is refreshing. This is kind of like the Golden Ale, like strength wise.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Or even the actually I think the Pilsner had a little bit more front flavor, but this has a really good like floral flavor to me. And this is heaven.
So this is
Oh my gosh,
right in the
I'm-
middle between like a good IPA and a hazy IPA. So it's not 100% hazy, it doesn't have that body,
Yeah.
but it's all fruit flavored. So you're gonna get, this is perception is reality,
So-
kiwi, lychee, and mango. So those tropical fruit flavors.
So this is where it's going to get difficult for me, is because this is a new podcast show. Now, we did one last week at Sequoia Brewery, and they've got some good flavors, and their style of doing flights is you pick a light or a medium or a heavy flight, and they just put whatever flavors they want in that. And I'm like, I want to choose my own, but that kind of made it nice to where, for me, that I had to choose new or
Force yourself to
taste
yeah.
flavors I wouldn't normally. And I actually was surprised with a couple of them. But the really hard part is because this is a new show, and here I am tasting your stuff, and your stuff blows a lot of other places away that I've been to before and haven't done shows with, that now I'm afraid, do I go do a show there or something? And then how do I try to praise them the way that I praise you guys? Because I'm seriously, this is phenomenal.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Jim, before we wrap up,
Yeah.
we have to show the audience that we have some cojones.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm noticing up there Phoenix Tears Imperial IPA.
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
We have to do a sample of their 9.5% alcohol.
All right.
Otherwise, people will think that we're wimps.
Oh, never, never.
No.
That's weird. I lived in El Cajones down in San Diego. Yeah.
This one is an amazing beer that we got brought out. Very dangerous, 9.5. When you drink it, it does not go down like a 9.5. It doesn't feel like it until you stand up.
So again.
Okay, now
aromatics.
first of all, before we try it, Jim, stand up before you even try it.
Well, you-
See where you're at.
You got to smell first. You got to
Okay, that's
smell it
acceptable.
first. There you go. All right. Now
So-
can you stand?
Okay,
There,
now,
we're good. We're
You
good.
good?
so now can you stand on one leg?
Yeah, yours. I can stand on your leg.
Well, no, there's this thing called a balance test. Now I got to work because I'm an old fart and stuff, but I'm working on developing what they call the old man test, and for a balance. What the old man test is, I can't do it even sober right now, so I'm not going to even try with this. But what it is you stand with your shoes, like sneakers. You stand on one leg, you take off the shoe, and then you take off the sock, you do the other. And then you put them on, but you're staying on one leg.
This sounds like a military practice to me, or
Well,
exercise.
It's it's something that I say, wow, this is something I got to work on because
Back in my Navy days and AT&T days, sure. Now I'm retired now.
Technically, I am retired, but technically I'm a senior citizen. I mean, shit, I just hit 65, man.
I believe
and
it.
I'm seeing like a lot of my friends, right, falling down and stuff. I said, I don't want to fall down. In fact, I'm telling my kids I plan to be around for a long time, at least another 40, 50 years. If that guy Brian Johnson actually comes up with stuff, do not die, for those of you that are internet geeks, I told him that I'm going to be around forever, and you're never going to get inheritance. You're stuck for me forever.
Nicky told me he was so old, he remembered the first prize he won was fire.
Oh man.
Okay. Cheers, Jim.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Did
Thank
you guys want to join us?
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, let's.
There we go.
Yeah, you know, I mean, hey, if you guys are here,
They're like, no, man, we don't snort the product, man.
you're not like your drug dealers. It's not like it's like crack. Maybe
That's
it
the
is.
beautiful thing about having a brewery is
You get to.
it doesn't matter what time of day it is. There's always time for
You
beer.
make enough to where you can't drink it all.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you can
cheers,
still have
guys.
some left over
Thank
to
you so much.
sell.
All right. This is a very unique brew.
That is good. It's not heavy, dark like you would expect for something with that much alcohol in
Yeah.
it. So
Does this
that
thing
one,
have
this is
rye in it?
9.5?
Not this
Yeah.
one. This one's the 9.5.
And what kind of hops do you use for this one?
So this is all C hops. So it's like the traditional kind of old school Centennial, Citra, Cascade. These are kind of things that were popular like 10, 12 years ago. And we're bringing them back. So this is going to be giving you perceptions of guava, a lot of guava, grapefruit, and the one that kind of gets you at the end is juniper berry. So think like gin, that kind of like resinous-y berry. Kind of get that as well.
And I can taste the bitter on it, but I mean it's not like overpowering. So it's like a really good blend with the other front flavors.
Well, I can tell this is strong because
Oh, yeah.
I can definitely feel this.
The one key thing too about craft beer is the alcohol content plays a huge factor in the flavor profile.
Right.
That's why, like, if you took Dragon's Blood, we went from 6 to 9% levels
Right.
until we hit 8, and that was perfect. Obviously, with Phoenix Tears, the 9.5 just sits perfectly with it with the balanced flavors. If you go too low, you can get too sweet. You go too high, you get too boozy. It's just a balancing act with that. So.
Yeah, I noticed with like with the cleaner wines. I don't know why I keep going back to wines. We're here about beer, but so with the cleaner wines, you'll get a higher alcohol content, and then also, of course, the higher alcohol content. Usually, there's less residual sugars in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Know your stuff.
Yeah,
That's good.
but I mean, even though alcohol gets converted back over to sugar in your body to an extent, it's not quite the trade-off. But so do you test the levels of like sugar and everything in your beers as well?
We do.
Yep, from start to finish. I mean,
Nice.
we're brewing right now, actually. We're doing a golden stout right now. And we just tested the bricks. The mash gravity was 1075. If that means anything to you. But
No, but thank you.
yeah.
Just so you have that information.
Hopefully
Bricks.
it will one
Bricks,
day.
You know what bricks are, probably
Yes.
with wine. So
So when
same thing.
we're looking at the alcohol content of the beers and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and you go through different batches. A lot of times you may have to change your hops and stuff, but how can within how much are you within that alcohol range? I mean,
Yeah,
no
that's
one's
huge
going to
thing.
be absolutely 100% on, but are you within, let's say, 10% or so consistently?
0.2.
Point two.
Whoa!
Nice.
And that's the goal.
That's why you have the chemist or the biochemist on board. He's like, yeah, you know what? It's all math.
Well, no, I mean, no, it's quality. You gotta have some play with quality. It's like my philosophy I've adopted is you're never going to have perfection. But what you can have is you can have excellence.
And consistency.
And if you go for excellence, and someone just tells me you guys do a brew and you say this stuff is good, but maybe if we tweak it a little bit more, the next batch will be a little bit. It's going for that little bit of extra, and that's like a pride. That's the one thing about people who are running businesses with passion. You have something that you have pride. And that just makes such a difference.
Oh yeah, and you can definitely taste that in the product itself. You can taste the care. And by the way, your philosophy that you adopted, does it know it's adopted, or does it think does it think that you're its real parent?
You know what? It doesn't matter. It's loved.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Hey, look. You have
That was
to,
the Dragon's Blood talking.
you have to. I I mean, it's. So many like friends of mine, acquaintances, same age, they're on all these blood pressure medications, cholesterol, and all this, right? So, my friend Johnny was visiting up from San Diego. So he says, "Hey, Nicky, you should check out AI." I said, "Okay." So ask AI a question. I said, "Okay, what's percentage of Americans age 65 who are on 0 medications?" and it said like only 11%, you know, and I'm one of those 11%. So, you know, life is good, life is awesome, and I want everybody's life to be awesome. And, you know, if I can, you know, we have so many what I call people who like to be crap magnets, right? And, you know, I would rather bring joy to people's lives. You know, it's like when I go in.
Yeah,
and I talk to
drama was
people-
meant. Yeah, drama was meant for the soap operas and theater.
Yeah, and you know, it's like if I can bring some joy to people's lives, you know, I make it a personal thing that if I can bring a smile to someone's face, make them feel a little bit better, if I can do at least that once or twice every day, then that's made my day.
Yeah.
You know what's going to really put a smile on my face is wrapping this up with two more flavors.
Okay.
One is that coffee vanilla stout.
Yes, sir.
And then the other one is, what was the other one? The porter.
Porter.
Okay, you know,
Those are the heavier ones.
Okay, I don't drink coffee, but you know what? So it would be unfair for me to do a coffee stout, but I'll try that coconut porter.
The coconut one. You know what?
I mean, a shadow coconut porter.
Do that. I would do the coconut with the coffee vanilla stout because it doesn't taste like coffee. It just has a
tastes a
coffee
little bit.
background.
So which one
Yeah.
is this one?
That's a coffee vanilla stout.
Okay, well, you know what? Hey,
You don't have a choice.
you know, if I can walk, I did a Tony Robbins thing, right?
Cheers.
I walk across hot cold, so I can do
geez.
this. Yeah.
That's a coconut.
Ooh, I definitely taste the coffee bean in that.
Oh,
Yeah, I can definitely taste coffee.
Yeah, lots of vanilla in there.
You know,
But actually, it's not bad. You know, I definitely taste the vanilla. And if you're a coffee lover, this would definitely do it.
this is like
So
this
which-
would be a fantastic cold brew flavor from Starbucks.
So
I mean,
now-
it's that good.
This
Basically
is the
equate that to cold brew with alcohol.
okay. So this is the coconut porter.
This is the coffee vanilla stout.
Wait,
Well,
no,
well,
that
Oh
was-
yeah. Oh sorry. You're good. You're
So-
good. I couldn't see the cut.
Before I hit the porter,
Oh, I can't get enough of this. It's
tell me
oh my
about
gosh.
the porter.
So the porter is just traditional porter. You're gonna get a lot of chocolate, toffee, and coffee flavors
Yes.
in there.
Okay.
But you're not gonna get those adjuncts in there, so it doesn't have it in there.
Okay.
And then we use toasted unsweetened coconut for this one, about 2 pounds for half barrel, and it's gonna just shine through in the nose, and on the back end palate, you're actually gonna get that subtle coconut. It's not like a strong pina colada
I
coconut.
gotta
but
take a sip of water to clear out my palate because that flavor is just
I should do the same.
that's a strong stout right there, but as in flavor wise, but it's so good. Oh my gosh, oh that right there is just fantastic. And I was never a fan of like stouts and porters and stuff like that because you know, I've always like, no, I'm a beer guy, you know, ex-Navy and all that, you know, and I'm like, no, it's not real beer, you know, Guinness and all that stuff, you know. It's like I couldn't quite grasp it as its own separate thing because they're not beer. It's brewed differently. I mean, you use hops and stuff like that, but it's kind of like almond milk. It's not milk. I mean, unless seriously, and you know what, I may be wrong, but I don't think almonds have nipples.
They're not. No.
No, they don't.
Yeah, and that might be the
Tiny
stout
hand.
talking, but so they called it almond milk, and if they would have called it almond juice, I might have liked it. But I'm comparing it to milk. This is not milk. So you know, when I'm thinking like stouts and porters, and it took me a while to finally get past all that, but I was thinking, it's not. No, I want a beer, you know, or an ale,
Yeah.
and not the same thing. Really isn't.
You know, I
So
definitely
what-
would say if you're a coffee drinker, both of these are
Very good.
definitely if you're a
Yes.
coffee drinker.
Oh, that is good. That is really good. That coconut porter.
So
Wow.
you know, probably what you might want to try there is that dark Pegasus porter.
So
Look.
that porter is the coconut porter's base is the dark Pegasus. We
Oh.
use that, and then we add the coconut on top of that. So I'm going to create that base, and I'm going to extrapolate different flavors into there. So I'm hoping to do peanut butter.
Yeah.
Um,
Ooh.
So there
More vanilla in there,
are
some
there
other
any
things.
other type of flavors that you might be considering adding to the menu?
Like garlic
oh,
or
yeah. a little bit of seasoning over there. Yes, we are going to introduce at least a couple seltzers. We know that's a part of the industry right now. We're not going to be shy to walk away from that because
How about
that's a market.
how about any
Yeah.
kind of blood oranges?
Blood orange seltzer might
Oh.
actually be in the works for us.
Yeah, that's real
Yeah.
popular. My favorite from San Diego was the Coronado Brewery Blood Orange.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
'cause
Ballast Point's got a great one too. You know, when they have it on
Are you
there.
talking about the Sculpin?
Sculpins are good.
Yeah,
Grapefruit.
Sculpin's really good. That's more grapefruit, but Blood Orange, I think they briefly had one, but their unfiltered Sculpin, oh, that one is
That's very good.
that one's real popular
Just drink
down
lots.
there, and
Yeah.
Ballast Point's a hard one to compete with, and like I was saying before, you guys have flavors that can compete in that market, you know, and they're huge.
Yeah, one of the biggest things with the 16 taps that we're going to have, like you see behind you,
Yeah.
we want to keep at least maybe 2 or 4 that are always experimental rotations.
Ooh.
So that way we're always playing with new flavors
Yeah.
and giving the public, because it's not our palates that are going to determine what we put on tap, it's the public. And if they love it, then we'll make bigger batches of it. If they don't like it, we'll pull that off. And that's kind of how we're kind of moving forward with every kind of beer we make.
So the question, following up with,
And
what
I'm
you
sorry,
just
which one
said,
was this one?
Are you look?
The Dark Pegasus.
Are you
Porter.
looking
Okay.
at creating, let's say, one new brew a week or something for people to try?
Not. That's
That'd
a
be
bit
hard to do.
That's advantageous.
Or let's say
we
every
have
other
we
week.
have a plan
Probably
to
once a month.
yeah. Basically, we have a smash beer plan.
One
where
every
it's-
1 to 2 months or something like that.
Yeah, and we're creating. We're going to create what's called smash beers of 1 hop, 1 grain. We have a 12-month plan. We're going to create one for each month, and they're all going to be different flavors. And it's going to be a test, and we're going to see what people think about them as we push them out.
Yeah, because that would be just you could make that and you could make that a monthly event. Hey, you know,
Oh, yeah.
we've got this new flavor. Tell us what you think about it, because your customers, ultimately, the people who come in here to the tap room, they can give you feedback on on.
100%. And we've always loved constructive criticism, feedback, because we've told people that if you don't tell us good or bad about the beer, we can't make changes. So if you truly don't like the beer, we will take a closer look at what's going on with the process and make it better.
Well, you know, here's the thing: human nature is that a lot of times
It's beautiful, by the way.
we don't. A lot of times people don't want to tell you what they don't like. It's, you know, it kind of goes like,
Yeah,
you know.
people pleasing around the world.
I tell people though, I say, hey, straight up, tell me it sucks. Like literally.
Well,
tell me.
that's like I
Well,
was saying about the Kolsch,
nothing-
is that
nothing-
I don't like that type
no-
of flavor. I do like Kolsch's, but there's something on, but like I was saying, it doesn't agree with my palate
Right.
Yes.
on that aspect. And I'm honest with, you know, whoever I'm talking to
Yeah.
about those flavors and things. With it's not a flavor. This is how I basically I judge my beers. Is it something I would take home and put in my fridge? And is it something I would want in a keg?
Right.
So generally the porters and stouts I won't, because it's going to be sitting there too long because I don't drink it as often. But it's definitely every flavor that I've tried here so far today is something I would love to have in my fridge. And several flavors I would love to have in a keg.
Awesome.
You know, so that's saying a lot. You know, most places I'll be like, if they've got good beers, I'll be like, yeah, there's one I might like to have in a keg. I might like to have a few of the beers in my fridge, but one I'll have in a keg. Here, many flavors I could just take home and enjoy every day.
Nice.
They're just because they're memorable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's. Now, I'm not a coffee drinker myself, but
Mhm.
these weren't bad.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time I take coffee, and so it's like I want to
Thank you.
spit it out, but these ones went down smooth. So that's actually a good sign.
Yeah.
You know, you know, really, I don't, you know, I'm a tea drinker myself. As far as that Imperial IPA, that is like some strong stuff. I mean, but hey, look, we had to do that.
So we're coming up here on 59 minutes. We're going to have to close it out. But do you guys have any, Ryan and Cody, do you have any final statements of what you would like to put out to the public for anything?
Yeah, we are here Thursdays and Fridays, 5 to 7 for can sales.
All right.
Pretty much most weeks. We don't offer any tastings. We don't offer full pours yet. We're almost going to be open. We're looking at 90 days. We do also have a lifetime membership if you'd like to join on that. Come on by. We can explain it to you and tell you a little bit about how that works. And it is a lifetime membership. There's only 250. Once they run out, they are out. And the price does go up once we open up. They're going up about 33%.
And they're non-transferable, I imagine.
Correct.
Although, if you do pass away, would you open up another membership so you keep the 250 going?
I don't know. That's a conversation down the line.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right. Some ideas to throw out there.
Yeah, and something I would throw out to you, you have these lifetime memberships, I can certainly understand, because that enables you to raise up capital. But something you might want to consider is a lower cost annual membership. So this way, you have cash flow coming into your business all the time.
We've thought about that. We find the value in a lifetime membership over an annual is more intrinsic for our customers because they see like, okay, I got in now. And that's a large sum of capital just from the lifetime. Whereas if you forget your membership and you get off the bandwagon, then you got to pay to try and get back in, and a lot of times it's harder. So we're playing with that first in the beginning.
Yeah, and you got to be careful, though, because if somebody does pass on or pass away, and now you're down to 249 memberships, and you decide to open one up, somebody might discover, like, I want a membership so bad, I got to get rid of one of those other memberships.
My gosh, I didn't
Right?
know that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so, yeah.
Well-
we could
well-
have a Knives Out type,
Well, something I'm going to throw on to you, not breweries, but
Yeah.
back when I got out of the Navy, I joined the health club, 24-hour fitness, and this was like 1986 when they only had 3 clubs. Now, when I was looking at the clubs, a lot of clubs in the health clubs in the 1980s were offering these lifetime memberships.
Yeah.
And what happened is a lot of them went out of business. Now, 24-hour fitness at the time was required like a $14 a month if you signed up, and it just went in perpetually, right? So I put it on my checking account, and it's still going to this day, even though I don't have one inside here because I can use it when I'm traveling around. And if you set something up like that with, let's say, an auto pay, because if it's an auto pay out of checking account or credit card, most people don't even think about that type of stuff.
100%.
It's also gives you promotional things to get people to kind of come in and if you have a tap room and it's a chill place and stuff, then people come in, they have a good, it's kind of like that old TV show, Cheers.
Now we've been tasting your beers and criticizing them, and well, not much criticism to actually throw out, but more enjoyment. Now it's your turn. Do you feel like you've been sitting here for an hour?
No.
No.
Wow, sweet. We did a good job. Holy cow, we're professionals, Nikki. Thank you. So we are.
You are.
So we're finishing up here at the Reborn Brewery here at 1018 San Jose in Clovis, California. On your website, it does have 1018 East San Jose. If you put that in the maps, it doesn't come up as East.
Okay.
It gives you a couple options for, so if you just put in 1018 San Jose Clovis, it'll come up on the maps a lot easier. You don't have to put in the zip code. As far as at least my map shows. What's the zip code just in case?
93612.
93612. So, coming to you live from Clovis, California, we got Flights of the Valley here at the Reborn Brewery, and it's been a wonderful show. You got any closing statements there, Nikki?
Hey, thank you for hosting us, and thanks for the brew.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for
Thank you,
coming.
guys. You guys are beautiful, and I'm so excited because you're almost within walking distance to me.
Oh, yeah.
Once my back gets better, it will be in walking distance. Yay! So you have a beautiful thing going on, and I expect that you're going to open, and word of mouth is going to get out, and you're going to need to expand quickly. That's my prediction. So,
I agree.
all right.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Cheers,
Have a
guys.
great one. And Merry Christmas.
Oh, yes.
Awesome.